Hi everyone and welcome to Season 13, Episode 4 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So after some really patchy early season form that really left us struggling at the bottom of the table, things have begun to pick up. For the last 8 matches, we haven't lost, few too many draws, but even so, we're marching up the table. Can we continue that today against Southampton? Let's find out. Welcome back to the always improving Truro City. As I say, start of the season wasn't fantastic, to be honest. I was left a little bit worried, but things have picked up. And if we go and have a look at the league table, you'll see that we're currently sitting in 9th position in the Premier League, which is great. After 18 games today, our 19th match, so halfway through the season after today's match, you can see that most teams around us have actually played their 19th game already. There's quite a big gap between West Ham in 8th and Leicester in 7th. So at the moment, my hope is to try and get into that 8th position today by winning today's match and then seeing what we can do about maybe reeling in this top 7 as it looks like at the moment. Crystal Palace have managed to put themselves in the mix of it, along with pretty much all of the usual players in the top 6 in the Premier League. So there's a big challenge there, but we'll see what we can do. But today is all about getting those 3 points and seeing if we can leapfrog West Ham. The other thing that I'd like to do at some point in the near future, if possible, is turn this -2 goal difference in the Premier League into a plus. If we can get a plus goal difference, then I think we're heading in the right direction. So that's the intention. We'll see what happens today. But Southampton sitting down in 16th position. Another good opposition for us on this run of 8 league matches since we last lost. If we go and have a look in the schedule, you'll see, here we go. Chelsea were the last team to beat us. And they did so right the way back in on the 23rd of October. We're now sitting on the 29th of December. As I said in the intro, a few too many draws maybe. 4 draws in that time. If we could have taken 1 or 2 of those away, that would have been magnificent. But ultimately, not losing is fantastic. January itself coming up is going to be a tricky month with the likes of Leicester, Tottenham, Liverpool, Man United all in there. So today is really important that we do get those 3 points. So in doing so, let's see how we get on. Unfortunately, we're not going to be totally at our best in terms of personnel today. We're not too bad, but you can see immediately Gonzalez, our holding midfield player, is suspended. He picked up too many yellow cards. We've also got injury issues for Marks and Izvikov in midfield. We are having to play a couple of slightly jaded players, Goodwin and Sambol, just because they're the best options that we've got at the moment. And also, the likes of Signorelli have just come back from a knock as well, so he probably won't see out the entire game. The only one that I'm really worried about in today's match is Sambol, but without Gonzalez there, we don't really have too many other options at this moment, really. What we will possibly do partway through the game is put Thompson in and probably push Goodwin back if we need to, but it's a little bit tricky. They're not really suited for the roles particularly. It's unfortunate that we've just got a couple of central midfielders out at the same time. But there we go. Not much we can do about that. Southampton should be a reasonably good game for us, though, in a slightly less than ideal state, let's say that we are in. But overall, I'm fairly happy with the run of form. So let's see if we can keep it going. And for today's match, we've got Wendell in goal, Swan at right back, Ionel at left back, Claridge and Colombini in central defence, Sambol, Goodwin and Morrison in central midfield, White on the right, Dudita on the left and Signorelli up top with a bench of Joan, Williams, Benamor, Thompson, Bondorf, Fenn and Abu Bakar. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So, being at home and also being against a slightly lower side in the Premier League on this particular occasion, we've gone very positive, pumped the fist and said, I fully expect you to keep this run going and win this match. We'll see whether that works for us in this first half, but we've got to be relatively happy about this kind of circumstance. as I say, against a slightly lower level opposition in the Premier League. Southampton sitting just outside those relegation areas. They've come in with a seemingly a very defensive tactic. 3 holding midfield players plus a central midfield player as well. Very interesting tactic. Not sure I've seen this one particularly very often in the Premier League, so we'll see how we cope with it. But hopefully early doors in this particular game, we can get off to a positive start and really try and go at them. And we work a chance down the right-hand side very early on with a throw-in. But Southampton win the ball and then, unfortunately for them, fortunately for us, kind of just boot it clear and it comes back to us down this left-hand side. Dudita takes over. INL on the overlap, the youngster at left fullback that we've been playing recently. I haven't been impressed with my normal fullback options, so I thought I'd give him a go. And he's done pretty well. On that occasion, they broke very, very quickly, Southampton, got all the way through us and had a shot one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper was up to it. Fortunately for us, Wendell's a very, very good keeper. I suspect that some of the bigger teams will be looking at him in the very near future if they're not already. And we get a chance again to build up an attack, this time down the right-hand side. Morrison takes it more centrally. And then another wayward ball in there. But we do eventually try and get it back to Dudita, which was the original attempt. Didn't quite make it the second time, but there's the third time. And finally, we've got it going again. And that is much, much better. Goodwin on the ball in midfield. Dinks it over the top of the defence for Signorelli to run onto. And right in his stride, gets the chance to strike a goal. Does so. Puts it underneath the goalkeeper into the bottom corner. That's a really good strike by him. And a very good ball by Goodwin. And eventually... we had 3 attempts to try and get that particular highlight to work for us. In the end, we did. And it was only at 7 minutes as well. It's been quite highlight heavy in the first few minutes of the game. And we've come out on top so far. And there was almost another good chance there for a strike at goal. But the on-running attacker couldn't quite get on the end of it. But we work again. Signorelli drops in to get involved in the play. White takes over. Dudita in the box couldn't quite get the ball out from his feet, unfortunately. And the goalkeeper snuffles it away from him and puts a really good long clearance down. And ultimately, we were a little bit lucky. The strike came in. It seemed to beat the goalkeeper, but it also went slightly narrowly wide as well from Southampton. Another chance for us in midfield and another sloppy pass, this time from Sambol, means that Southampton get a chance to intercept it and charge down this right-hand side, get all the way to the byline. Cross comes into the near post. We get it partially cleared back to this right-hand side for Southampton, though. And they've worked it to the top of the box. And we've pushed them backwards, which is good. But they've done it very, very well. A really good ball over the top on this right-hand side in lots of space. Unfortunately, it was in the area of our young fullback that didn't quite manage to figure himself out on this occasion. Wasn't quite wide enough, couldn't get to the ball. By the time he did, the player had enough space and time to pinpoint a pass to the top of the 6-yard box. And it was kind of a simple tap-in for Southampton at that point. And we go back to 1-1 at about 20 minutes on the clock. A little bit disappointing that we keep giving the ball away again and causing our own downfall a little bit here. We do have to try and find a way to eliminate those kind of errors and just be a little bit more careful on the ball, it feels like. But overall, we're still very competitive in this match. There's a long way to go. We haven't even reached the 25th minute yet. There's a good clearance by Claridge, but unfortunately Southampton win the ball back. We win it back again in clearing it from our defence, and this time it's switched from left to right through to Signorelli again in the shooting position in the penalty box. And he absolutely smashes that ball into the back of the net. High over the top of the goalkeeper into the far corner from where he starts. It was a good switch from left to right. White takes over, threads the through ball into the box, gets it out from his feet really nicely, and then shoots across the goalkeeper into the far top corner of the net, and does manage it. Puts us 2-1 up with a magnificent strike. Signorelli on the goal-scoring hunt today, which is fantastic. 2 already for him. Excuse me. Here we go with Southampton at the near post, though. Wendell comes out and claims the ball comfortably, which is what you want your goalkeeper to do, and distributes it well into Morrison in midfield. Morrison tries again to thread the ball through to Signorelli, doesn't quite manage it. Southampton win it back, get through on goal themselves. And this is an absolute shoot fest, isn't it, really? You have a go, we have a go, you have a go, we have a go. We've got to eliminate that somehow. But we've kind of got to eliminate it once we're again in the lead, because now we're back to 2-2. Southampton with a good through ball, and they put a really good shot underneath the goalkeeper, low into the back of the net, and we are back at 2-2. We've got to find a way to get ourselves ahead again and then possibly shut up the shop a little bit. So we'll look to do that. INL puts the throw in, but we lose the ball again in midfield, and again it's Southampton charging through on us. Their counter-attack speed is pretty immense, it looks like, and they've won themselves another corner kick on the far side to the near post. We get it partially cleared, but they're going to pick it up again themselves in midfield and come again at us. They've dropped it even further back to maintain possession, and then the highlight goes. But the highlight comes back with a throw in to us down our right-hand side, right in our right fullback position, though. So we've got a long way to go. We've worked it to the halfway line with Morrison. Over the top again to Signorelli. He was pushed out wide a little bit, and then the defender got a last-ditch tackle in, gives us a corner kick. The corner comes in, and they get it headed clear. So we're going to maintain possession down this side, but we don't see it on the highlight. A little bit disappointing in that period of play that we couldn't quite get an accurate shot at goal in any form, but we are still moving forward. And at half time, it's been an interesting game. They've had two players that they've had to sub out through injury. They've had a yellow card as well, and we've both had 2 goals. The possession stats are in our favour a little bit. The shooting stats are in our favour just a small amount, but their XG is better. Their expected goals, because they've had better chances than we've had. So we're going to have to thrash the arms a little bit. Far from pleased with what I've just seen. This is the sort of game that we need to be winning, remember, because of where we are and where they are in the league. So we're going to go into the shouts, fire them up for this second half, and if we can get into the lead, then we will probably change everything up in terms of how we play and try and suppress the game an awful lot more. But to do it now, we have to be back in the lead. And at the moment, we find ourselves at 2-2. Swan with a throw-in for us down the right-hand side. White takes over. Swan on the overlap, gets it back. Cross comes in, but it's crossed to the top of the box. And it was a brilliant decision, because in the end, Sambol picks it up, taps it forward to Goodwin in a little bit of space at the top of the box, and he fires a magnificent shot right into the corner of the goal, and we go 3-2 from distance. That was a really lovely effort. Sambol into Goodwin, swivels on the spot, and puts it really close to the side of the goal, and the goalkeeper couldn't scramble across. We're going to pause the game immediately, and this is what I say. We've now got to find a way to try and stop Southampton from getting back at us, which they've done several times now. So we're going to go into the cautious mentality. We're going to go into possession. We're going to shorten the pass right down. We're also going to slower the speed, should I say, and go to lower tempo. We're going to dribble less, so try and keep the ball as much as possible and be more disciplined. So that's what we're going to try and do. In terms of in transition, we're going to hold the shape more rather than counter in terms of when we've won. And I think we're going to regroup a little bit as well and make it harder for them to get through us. That's the intention with that. And then out of possession, we're going to squeeze the play a little bit and bring the line of engagement lower and keep that higher line of engagement in the defensive area. Those are the changes we're going to make. It could come a cropper. We'll have to deal with it if it does. But just at the moment, it's my way of trying to absolutely take the sting out of the game and keep this ball as much as we can. So let's see if we can do that. Go straight back in at 59 minutes on the clock. We've still got quite a way to go, half an hour to play out. But the first half was far too open for my liking. And now that we've got this lead, we have to try and find a way to hold on to it. So we had a couple of attempts there from the original corner, and then a second cross that came in. They got it cleared both times. Here's the third attempt, and this time they win the ball back at the top of the box. They're going long and early over the top. We've got plenty of players back, and they ride the challenge and get into the box. The foul, are they having a look at it through VAR? They are. The referee is going over there. It didn't look too bad. I mean, he stayed on his feet and carried on trying to run, so it didn't feel like it was too reckless a challenge. What's the referee going to do, though? Is he going to give them a lifeline at 3-2? No penalty. That's fantastic for us. It didn't look a particularly hard challenge, it must be said. The free kick was on the edge of the box, and we get it cleared from the cross that comes in from that, and we can settle the play down. This is the period now where we do have to try and keep the ball. We haven't done it, and Southampton come back with a corner kick, and it goes straight down the sights of the goalkeeper, fortunately. And he goes long to Signorelli, who holds the play up very nicely, and we switch it out wide right to White, and Swan goes over the top for Signorelli, round the goalkeeper, into the back of the net. 4-2, really, really quickly. The game turns on a dime, really, doesn't it? On this occasion, it's in our favour. Some good work down the right-hand side, but the goal has been disallowed, apparently. I guess it was offside, which is really disappointing. And we didn't even see the replay of it, so I'll have to take their word for it. But it looked pretty decent to me. I'm really quite disappointed about that one. But we remain at 3-2, not 4-2. 15 minutes to go. The time is ticking by, which is really positive for us. We needed to just keep going with no more highlights will do. I'll take the points at this particular moment. Got 9 minutes left. The time is going. Limited amount of chances for both sides in the last 20 minutes of the match. Hopefully the tactic is working and we're suppressing the game enough to get us through. It's a corner kick for us in which they get it partially cleared, but White's going to pick it up in midfield for us and receive it back again from Colombini. Switches out to Sambold, back into Swan, keeping the ball. Don't you dare make a mistake in the back here, though. If we were to make an error there, Southampton have got a run through on goal. We've worked it pretty well so far, keeping it, and there's the sweeping ball through to Signorelli, and again he's through on goal, and again he puts it in the back of the net, and again it's about whether the offside is going to be checked or not, and it is. This time it's going to be checked, and the goal again is disallowed. Swan with a brilliant through ball, and we'll see how close this one was. You can't get much closer than that, can you? You really can't. That's so unfortunate. That's twice now that we've put a really good ball through and it's been marginally offside by millimetres. But we do see the game out. The game drifts away for those last 5 minutes and we get to final whistle and we saw the game out really nicely. Southampton had a bag load of chances, especially in that second half compared to what we had far higher XG rating than we did, but we beat them 3-2 and take a really valuable 3 points from them. So that is fantastic. So from today's match, we didn't quite manage to get rid of our negative goal difference. We're now at -1, so we're moving in the right direction. But what we did do is pick up 3 very, very valuable points. It puts us over West Ham into 8th position. We've now got a 9-point gap between us in 8th and Leicester in 7th. That's going to be a really, really difficult run to try and bridge that gap. But we do play a couple of these big sides over the next month. So if we could sneak a win against Leicester, for example, coming up very soon in our schedule, then ultimately we could just start to narrow that gap. But I think it's going to be a really, really difficult task to actually reel them in. At this moment, I will happily say if I could finish in 8th, I think I'd probably take that. But we will certainly give it a good go to see if we can get any higher than that. So into the schedule we go to figure out what's coming up next episode. What is coming up next episode is going to be a tricky match. What we're going to do is we're going to come back right at the end of the January transfer window so I can update you on everything that's gone on through January. And we do have a bit of money to spend, so there might be some movement in the transfer market. but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But we're going to come back for the Manchester United match at the end of January. Between now and then, we've got Leicester, Derby, Tottenham. We've got a cup match in the FA Cup that the opponent isn't known yet. Then we've got Liverpool and Wolves before that United match. So as I said in the early stages of this episode, Leicester, Tottenham, Liverpool, United, all in January is going to be very, very tricky. But we kind of need to take some of those points if we're going to reel in that top 7. I'm not suggesting we're going to be able to do it, but we're certainly going to be able to give it a good go. So join me next episode for Manchester United away from home at Old Trafford in the Premier League. I'll update you on everything that's gone on in the January transfer window and in the fixture list for January. And we'll see where that leaves us as we start to march towards the back end of this season. But that's going to do it for us today. Really positive result. A very hard-fought win in the end against Southampton. Puts us up into 8th position. Really happy about that. So why not subscribe to the channel after that one? I don't know what else would make you do so. Subscribe to the channel. Join my United City community. Come and be part of a bigger community. You'll find me on Twitter and on Discord. All the links are in the description below. Don't forget I'm on Twitch also every weekday afternoon from 3 till 5 p.m. UK time over at twitch.tv/the United City FM. Come and say hi over there. Until next time here though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.